Harry, good to see you. I was just talking to Ian Birchland about you. He said that this move was largely instigated by you. You wanted to get out and play some more football. Can you tell us a bit more about that? How and why you wanted this move?
Well, obviously, I'm up in Nottingham, every day training with Forest 23s, and made aware to me that Ian and the brand of football that Notts County try and play. And yeah, it was just appealing from that side. I've missed the feeling of playing football. Once a move I had abroad wasn't going to happen, the window was shut, UK wise, and it was a case of either seeing the season out with Forest 23s or playing some games. And so when I spoke to Ian, it was something that I felt like it would be enjoyable.
How difficult has that time at Forest been? Because you arrived and obviously arrived to be playing football, and it's been a long while since you've been in the Forest team. You've been out on loan somewhere else as well. It must have been a difficult time for you when you've joined a club expecting to play a lot of football and then haven't had that chance.
Yeah, frustrating, obviously, but it is what it is. I've accepted that part of my journey at Forest. Difficult to fully accept, but once I spoke to Steve and kind of he gave me his opinion, you have to accept it is what it is. And I'm at 32 now, turning 33 this year, and I think one thing that I've realised is a football career goes so quick. It only feels like yesterday that I was playing for Bournemouth and in the Premier League, and in the space of 2-3 years so much has changed. And um, fortunate enough to be in a position where I can come to Notts County and not have to worry too much about next season. I can come here and just fully enjoy the experience and try and help the team get into the playoffs.
It would be easy for you, wouldn't it? And you see some of the players around the country do this when they're not involved in the first team, to sit there, take the money. But it seems like you're desperate to get out and play football.
Yeah. There's obviously a balance with that. It's difficult for players when they're at a club and sign a contract. And obviously, I found myself in that position in January and in the off season. And yeah, the balance is tough because for me, my life is, or it has been, football for the last 32 years, and you have to kind of weigh up, of course, the football side. But I've got a little girl and a family myself now that is my number one priority. And with 14 months left on my contract, the balance of playing football and having to stay at Forest, it's proved a little bit difficult. But with that, this opportunity's come along where it's suited all parties. And as I say, I'm really excited to work with Ian, because he's someone that sold his brand of football to me, which, if I'm being totally honest, the level's not important for me anymore. It's just about trying to find some enjoyment in football. Obvious, it's not been there for me for a while, for clear reasons with my situation at Forest, but hopefully now I can just enjoy playing.
Had you fallen out of love with the game a little bit during that time when you're not involved, when you've gone from playing at such a high level as well and regularly to then not being able to play? Does it sort of zap your energy, zap your enthusiasm a little bit for it?
I wouldn't say it's that my enthusiasm for it, because I love football, and watching it is become my enjoyment. But it just goes back to what I said earlier. It's the balancing act of you know having to sacrifice certain things that, unfortunately, I wasn't. I'm not in a position to sacrifice with a young family and being the age I am. And obviously not playing for the period I was, it was just a difficult time to. Yeah, there was no sort of end goal at the end of the week. I knew I was never going to play at Forest, and I don't think I was registered for the squad going forward this season. And I think probably for the foreseeable, I won't be involved there with the first team unless something changes. So to accept that was tough, and to kind of realise there was nothing I could do about it. And to be honest, with the window being shut and the move abroad falling through quite suddenly towards the end of the window, didn't really leave me with many options. So when Ian got brought to my attention, and this window still being open, it was something that was quite an easy decision when I spoke to Ian, just to come and play football for, there were 10 games or so, and really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I wonder what you make of the National League, because I know that Ian Birchland will have told you a bit about it. You'll know plenty as well, I'm sure, anyway. But you see teams like the last two teams Notts have played, for example, Wrexham and Stockport, have signed players from League One this season. The caliber's pretty good, isn't it? The top end of the National League is actually a high standard that you're going into play in here.
To be honest, I'd be lying if I said I knew too much, because I don't. Spoke to Ian, and we've looked through some clips and can see the standards high, much higher than what I would have thought it was. And training today was, a very good tempo, very good quality. So I don't come here thinking it's going to be, anything short of high quality and high work rate. And hopefully I can add to the group experience and a bit of quality and get the team back to winning ways. So I'm under no illusions that it'd be, the games would be tough. And
you've got a real promotion push to be a part of as well. This club has obviously got ambitions of ending the season inside the playoffs, and that's something to aim for, isn't it? That's a potential exciting few months ahead for the club.
Yeah, definitely. And to be honest, that's where, when I say to you about, the level for me isn't overly important anymore. It's more what the project is. There was, opportunities to potentially go back into League One at a few teams that, without being disrespectful and won't name, I wouldn't be overly interested in it. It's more, for me, a project and being part of a group and a manager that, has a clear identity of how he wants to do things. And I think the lower you go, sometimes it's probably harder to find. But with Ian, it was something that really stood out, really impressed me, his outlook on football. And myself, I've worked with some very, very good managers, and I have a strong opinion on how football should be. Forest are definitely playing a much better brand of football than probably how it's been the last 18 months. And I feel like I'm coming to a club where results probably over the past few weeks haven't been great. But the team's philosophy and their ideas are very, very good, and one that I'm really looking forward to getting into.
Would it be fair to say your aim is as well to try and find somewhere to go permanently in the summer, whether it's Notts or somewhere else? Or do you envisage at the end of this that you'll be back and looking for other loan spells with your contract still going at Forest?
Yeah, I think it's just a pretty straightforward situation at Forest. I think they understand my position and I understand theirs. I signed a 3-year contract there, and the reality is that I'm going to be back there next season, and I can't really see anywhere permanently being a viable option. So if it's a loan next season, then great. Hopefully we can come to an agreement like we have with this one. But if we can't, then I'll have to accept the situation for what it is and try and enjoy whatever position I'm in. But I think the reality is, I'll be back at Forest in pre-season and look to address what we could potentially do to maybe suit everyone.